Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a few exercises to help stretch your back, primarily the side of your back. If you're new to my channel, I'm Anna Maria. I'm a physiotherapist and Pilates instructor, and I am the creator of this channel, Physio Pilates by Anna Maria. Before we dig in, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for weekly releases on new videos. So let's dig in. The primary reason for this video is to help show you a few exercises on how you can stretch your lower back. The main muscle that we are going to be focusing on is a muscle called quadratus lumborum. It's a squarish muscle that attaches at the bottom of your rib cage and all the way down into the rim of your pelvis, your hip. And it also attaches on the side of your lumbar spine on the inside. You will get pain when you're getting pain from this muscle in around this waist area that sometimes can be quite tender, can radiate a little bit over the hip like a dull ache kind of pain, but can also give you some symptoms down into your bottom. This is because obviously it's a very strong muscle, it's a squarish muscle, and it can get affected by very different things. It can get affected by direct trauma, someone hitting you on the side or falling on the side. It can also build up through time because of posture, whether you're leaning differently on a chair or wearing a different pair of shoes. Sometimes it just happens, but it can get quite debilitating and quite uncomfortable because it can tilt a little bit your pelvis and then contribute to other symptoms like affecting your SI joint, which is at the bottom of your spine, and other things. So mostly what you feel is an uncomfortable feeling that you'd really want to stretch it out and release it. So these exercises I have found helpful myself personally because I do suffer from this condition, but also I have found that it has helped a lot of my patients coming through the clinic. So let's get going with the exercises. You don't really need much equipment wise, but if you do have a yoga block would be really useful, a mat obviously, or a space where you're going to actually do your stretches and exercises. And if you do not have a block, even a stack of books will help. This is just one of the options of the exercises, and we're going to be doing 4 exercises today. So once you're ready and you've got everything that you need, just get onto the mat and we can get started. So the first easy exercise to start off with, what we're trying to aim in each exercise is to open up that side of your waist. So the first one, we're gonna think of the problem being the right side. So I'm gonna always stretch the right side, but if yours is the left, you just repeat the same thing but onto the left. So I'm gonna stretch the right side. So for the first one, you're going to straighten your left leg, and then you're going to keep your right leg in a bent position. You want to try and feel your sitting bones touching the mat. So you do really want to try and anchor your pelvis down, because as I explained before, where it attaches, you want to try and hold one part down and stretch the other part, or vice versa. Otherwise, if you both lift, you're not really stretching that part effectively. So once you're in this position, so left leg straight, bent knee, you're going to reach left hand towards your ankle, so as far as you're comfortable going, and that starts to bend the side of your waist, and again you're bending towards the left, and then you're going to reach right hand up and over and hold that stretch. You want to try and keep the chest open and not rolled forwards, and you're going to hold it there. Take a breath and breathe out. Keep holding. Again, breathe in and breathe out. And you're going to hold it there for about 10-15 seconds and then come back, always breathing in and out into your stretch. And you can repeat it about 3-4 times, just as long as you're comfortable every single time. Now, you can also modify this and add a little bit of rotation by dropping the chest and then opening the chest to ceiling. Dropping and opening, and by adding a little bit of rotation, you are addressing the part that attaches a little bit onto the floating ribs, because those do rotate a little bit and those fibers can stretch also, and that will get you moving into that direction. So again, you bend and then add the rotation by dropping the hand and rotating the chest up and down. Very good. Always making sure that that right hip, because we're doing the right side, remains in contact with the mat. Now, the second exercise, we're going to pop up onto our hands and knees. And then we're going to sit into a child's pose position. And then what we're going to do is put both hands towards the left. Make sure your right hip is still touching the heel. And then what we're going to do is just making sure that that right hip remains touching and you're bending away from the right. That might give you a stretch also on the underside of your shoulder. And then once you're there, you can also add a bit of rotation, dropping the shoulder and rotating the other way. Dropping and rotate the other way. And dropping and rotate the other way. Very good. And then come back in. So again, you can do the same thing onto the left. So basically you're reaching towards the right and then you are going to be rotating or holding into that position. And then you're coming back. So it depends where your area and your feeling of stiffness and tightness or discomfort is. So that's your second exercise, which is a modified kind of child's pose position. Now, third exercise is going to be coming and using your block. Now, this is stretching more so the top part of your muscle rather than your bottom part, but it will really feel like a really good stretch, and it can sometimes be more useful for people with a bit more mobility that really need a little bit more of a stretch in that muscle, but not hypermobility. It's important to emphasize that you do not want to overstretch if you have hypermobility. It's just that some people do move a little bit more, and it's not because of the hypermobility, it's just the way they are made, and you can reach these fibers a little bit more with a little bit more movement. So what you're going to be looking at is using either a yoga block or a couple of books. You can either use it lengthwise in this upright position or more flat like this. So I'm going to start you off with a flat position. So the books will be stacked like this. You're going to be lying onto the right side. Right leg goes up onto the block. The left leg will just bring your foot behind the right knee, and then you're going to rotate that knee down. And you're going to start onto your elbow. And that already starts by stretching. So you're anchoring the right hip onto the floor and you're starting to stretch the top part into the rib cage. So then from that position, you're going to try straighten your hand up. And this gives you a good stretch onto that side. Don't sink into that shoulder. You're really trying to open up that side of your waist. And then with this leg forward, it gives you a bit more of that element into rotation just from the bottom part. And you hold it there for a few seconds and repeat it about 3 times. And if that's not enough, you can also use the block or the book, stacking a little bit more. Again, same thing, leg goes up, so right leg is up. You start onto your elbow. Left leg goes onto the knee, goes down. You're starting there. Sometimes you feel it already in that stretch, but if you want a little bit more, stretch open that arm. Don't sink into that shoulder and just try and aim to stretch that side of your waist, which you're also stretching a little bit the bottom of your leg. And you hold it there for a few breaths and then lower down and repeat it again a few times. So normally what I try and do is try and hold for 10 seconds 3 times, or else a hold of 30 seconds for your stretch. Sometimes in these positions it's easier to hold them shorter and repeat it, and that will help you a little bit. So again, another easy exercise to do is called a mermaid stretch. So a mermaid stretch, we're going to go into stretching the right side. So you want to you're going to start into both legs forward, and then what you're going to do is left leg going down, right knee touching the foot of the left leg. So when you're in this position, automatically your right hip wants to lift up. What you really want to work on is keeping that right hip down. Even if you use a few things like a pillow or a towel to just keep that gap engaged. So you really want to anchor that right hip. Then you're going to bring your left hand down. Already you want to really make sure that right hip remains down. And then you're going to lift up that right hand, drop the left elbow, and you're going to reach it up. And this one stretches again that side of your waist. And you're going to take a breath, breathe out, you come back. So again, you lean down, bend the elbow, reach over, and then come back. Bend down, bend the elbow, reach forwards, reach over, and then come back. And last one. And again, you can try and hold. And if you like, you can add a bit of rotation by straightening the bottom hand. You reach up and over, and then you do a little bit of a modified arm opening, rotating that hand, lifting up. Again, you're stretching a bit the top end of those fibers in that muscle. Last one. With this one, you're looking at doing a few repetitions, like 6 to 8 repetitions of the movement. You can repeat the same onto the opposite side, as I said, and that will also help. So the last bonus exercise is using your foam roller if you have. So if you do have a foam roller, just grab it. And ideally it's a nice smooth foam roller, a light one, so that it's not one of those knobbly ones. If you do have a knobbly ones, just put a towel over so it's not that harsh onto your spine. So to stretch or roll, really, rather than stretch your to stretch your QL muscle, which is your quadratum lumborum, where we were doing, is basically you're gonna come up on it, turn around, lean into that right side and go up and down at an angle. So you want to be on the soft side of your muscle, into that part where your rib cage is just starting off at the bottom, and you're just going up and down. You can rotate a little bit just to get into that muscle group. You can also use a foam roller to stretch it, and that is bringing it on the opposite side. So mine is your right side, and I'm going to bring it underneath left, and then just drop yourself over. Straighten right hand and lift right hand over. So right leg straight, right hand over, and that allows for an open stretch of the top of your side of your waist. And then you can hold it there for a few breaths, and again slowly push yourself up rather than lifting yourself up, because that can get it into contraction. So just making sure that you can support yourself coming up. You can do this also with a couple of pillows or towels without needing the foam roller. So that's an option for you if you don't have a foam roller. But those are about all the exercises to try and open the side of your waist and that lower back. And it should really feel nice and loose and easier when you've done the exercises. None of these exercises should increase your pain. So if they do, just stop doing the exercises and make sure you seek professional help for your symptoms. But otherwise, if you've liked this video, just make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for weekly releases of new videos. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.